bell tolls. The midnight hour is upon us. It's time once again for two internet strangers to discuss the good and evil of the horror genre. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the terror within the Hallow-Holics Anonymous podcast.
I guess it's time to reveal the killer, guys. Corey? You?
Yep. Sorry. I was just on a roll, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah, I know how that can be.
Hey, how about instead of turning me into the police for slaughtering countless virgin teenagers, why don't we just start the podcast?
Hi, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Corey.
And this is Hallow-Holics Anonymous,
a show dedicated to all things horror and occasionally Halloween.
Thematically, I don't know how to tie both of these movies together, except that there's a lot of non-sex sex.
Yeah, there is a lot of non-sex sex, and there's a lot of nothing else relating the two.
Like, you don't see boobies in either of them from what I recall, but people are, like, doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's more dry humping in yours than mine.
Yeah, yours still has, I think, the orgy at the end, or the attempted orgy, like, makes up for all its lack of dry humping.
There was an attempted orgy at the end of mine? See, I told you it completely...
No, I'm sorry. That was mine, which is the one that was assigned to me.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
There was no orgy in yours.
Mm-mm.
Just a very kinky tongue.
Yes, very.
My gift from Corey was Cherry Falls from the year 2000.
And my gift from Maddie was Killer Tongue from 96. We've sort of given up on the song since Christmas is over, though.
Yeah. And, like, we've just both been working a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sorry, guys. Maybe next year we'll come back to our song. And let's be honest, do you really want to hear us say Leatherface? This mask fell off 20, 30, 40 more times?
Oh, God, that's true. It would happen a lot. I think that the audience dodged a bullet this Christmas.
Yeah. If you really want to hear the rest of the song, guys, tweet at us. And we'll finish it, but you're probably not going to tweet at us. So.
Ooh, we can also do a giveaway if somebody tweets at us, so maybe we can relate to. We'll get to that when we get to Horror Pack.
But first, the horror news Corey didn't research.
No, I did. I've got it right here.
Okay, then, all right. Then why don't you finish that sentence? But first,
horror news.
I'm so proud of you. Yes, that's what you're supposed to say.
All right, so Trent Reznor is mad at Netflix, and I think he's right.
What?
Well, Trent Reznor gets mad a lot. It's why I liked his Twitter back in the day. He doesn't really talk on it and hasn't for like a decade, but like he used to be really funny on Twitter. So he does a lot. Him and Atticus Ross, the guy who he makes music with, have been doing a lot of soundtracks lately, scores. Like they just finished up the Watchmen series, which is phenomenal. I haven't finished it, but it's really, really good. They did a bunch of David Fincher movies, The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and Gone Girl.
Oh yeah, those are good soundtracks.
Yeah, and it's just fantastic stuff. He also did Bird Box, which everybody generally loved. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, that concept, it seemed like a lot of movies, like, right around when that came out were doing similar concepts, so it's
it's like getting rid of a sense and fighting monsters. That was like so last year.
I think the one that was in theaters was probably the best of them.
I agree, the one where they couldn't talk. So in a Revolver interview, Trent Reznor was quoted in saying, "When we got immersed in it, it felt like some people were phoning it in. And you're stuck with a film editor who had real bad taste. That's kind of our barricade to getting stuff in the film. And the final icing on the shit cake was we were on tour when they mixed it. And they mixed the music so low you couldn't hear it anyway. So I was like, that was a...
Why would you waste his work like that?
I don't know, but that's exactly... His next line is, that was a fucking waste of time. Then we thought, no one's going to see this fucking movie. And of course, it's the hugest movie ever in Netflix. So he's got this giant movie on Netflix that everybody loved that he scored and nobody can hear. And I agree, I would be very irritated too, but I guess he's so irritated that he is no longer scoring the thriller The Woman in the Window, which is Amy Adams and Gary Oldman. Mm-hmm. I assume this is another Netflix movie because it comes up in the article, but doesn't say.
Well, that's a shame, but I can definitely understand his position.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing here is this soundtrack for The Woman in the Window is done. They finished it. They're just like, screw it, we're done. We're out.
But so is he still giving them the rights to use it?
I don't think so. I think if he's dropping out of the project, he's just, it doesn't say, but who knows?
Well, that's a shame. But
yeah, I agree with it. If some editor's gonna like completely screw up your art, especially considering he's like, he does all of his own stuff, he does his own mixes, everything.
Well, the editor has even more power than the director. The editor needs to learn to work with the visions of all of the artists involved with the project.
Right. And somebody who knows as much about sound as he does, having his work completely undermixed in the final product is just a kick in the face.
Yeah, he's only a world-famous musician who's been making incredible music for, 30 years now? Something like that? And
producing his own stuff and mixing his own stuff, which is just making it worse for him, I'm sure.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I agree. So that's my news.
That's cool. Now, was The Woman in the Window supposed to come out on December 27th? Because a lot of other movies did.
On this day,
that is a little much.
On this, now is that not enough?
That's good. That's good.
On this day in horror history.
December 27th saw the release of The Invisible Woman from 1940, which I have never heard of, so I'm probably going to have to watch that one. It looks kind of like it could be a comedy. It's got this kind of sexy poster with the white chalk silhouette of what I assume is an invisible woman. There was also The Tower of Terror in 1941. The Willies in 1990. I believe that's a Canadian horror film. It kind of looks like it. And The Day of the Triffids in 2009.
Wasn't The Willies like sort of a Gremlins knockoff? Isn't it like one of those?
I honestly haven't watched it, but it looks like some kind of like monster terrifying kids, so it's possible.
Okay, I could be completely off there, but I feel like it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the poster art looks weird, so it's probably terrible, but I'd watch it anyway.
Oh, yeah,
We're probably eventually going to watch it. It's just the sort of movie we watch for this show.
Right.
That was on this day in horror history.
Did you get a special Christmas gift this month?
I did. I got a special Christmas horror pack. And by special Christmas horror pack, I mean there's one movie that is even remotely related to Christmas, I think.
I can't really get into the spirit without a little bit of jangle jangle.
I don't have my bells are on the other side of the room.
Corey, this is our last chance. It's just past Boxing Day.
Hold on, let me see if I can reach them.
There we go.
Happy?
Yes.
All right. All right, so we'll save the Christmas one for last. We'll save that one for last. First up, we've got The Reef. Pray that you drown first.
Okay.
Based on a true story, blah, blah, blah.
So it's
on the beautiful.
Yeah.
I shark movies other than Jaws are always bad.
Oh, wait. That's not true. What about Orca?
It's not a shark.
It's a killer. Yeah, you're right. It's not a shark.
I'll give you that Orca's a good movie, though.
Okay.
On the beautiful but shark-infested waters of Australia's Great Barrier Reef, ship delivery man Luke and his 4 hot, carefree friends
oh my God.
sail a yacht through paradise. Along the way, their ship is torn open by sharp rocks and begins to sink, leaving the passengers with a terrifying choice. Stay on board with slim hope of rescue or swim 12 miles to the nearest island through a sea of bloodthirsty, unseen danger. When they enter the water, a relentless great white immediately follows their trail for a white-knuckled chase that will fill the waters with blood.
You know what could actually have made that film interesting?
What?
If instead of hot friends, it was like his hideous, malformed friends. His outcast, freakish friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired of the hot friends. Guys, let's do a beach movie with ugly people.
Or just like normal looking people, like the people you actually see at a beach.
Yeah. So, fat Italians.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, next, and lots of back hair. All right, next up we have the special collector's edition of Climax. And the cover is like people dead and like a DJ booth, so I assume this is some sort of club film.
Mm-hmm.
From the director Gaspar Noé, N-O-E with an accent mark above the E.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. He did Irreversible, Enter the Void, and Love.
I might have seen Enter the Void.
I feel like I have too. I'm not sure, though. Comes a hypnotic, hallucinatory, and ultimately hair-raising depiction of a party that descends into delirium over the course of one wintry night. Maybe it is a Christmas movie.
Well, I like the idea of a wintry night.
Yeah. Tracking their journey from jubilation to chaos and full-fledged anarchy, Noah observes crushes, rivalries, and violence amid a collective psychedelic meltdown.
Does this movie deserve a fancy $5 word like jubilation?
I don't know, but I kind of feel like if it's trippy and scary, I will like it, probably.
I'd watch it. I'd take the risk of watching it.
Yeah, I will too someday. All right, next up, I think that we should do a giveaway. I don't know. Tweet at us.
Tweet at us and you'll get something.
Yeah, or
the first person
favorite.
to tweet at us. Cause...
No, here's what we'll do. The first person that tweets us a movie that they want us to do that we actually decide to do, I will send them a copy of Victor Crowley, because I already have a copy of it.
Oh, it couldn't just be because you think it's an incredible film people need to see and you want to treat your fans. You have to point out that you have a copy.
Well, I did really like it, but most people don't.
Oh, okay. That makes it even more compelling.
Yeah. All right, so here's the back of this one. Most of you are probably familiar with Victor Crowley at this point. In 2007, over 40 people were brutally torn to pieces in Louisiana's Honey Island swamp. Over the past decade, lone survivor Andrews, played by Perry Shen, claims that local legend Victor Crowley, played by Kane Hodder, was responsible for the horrific massacre, and it has been met with great controversy. But when a twist of fate puts him back at the scene of the tragedy, Crowley is mistakenly resurrected, and Andrew must face the bloodthirsty ghost from his past. This one's kind of funny because they're all like stuck in a plane crash, and Victor's like killing them one by one.
I like the Victor Crowley movies. Kane is... If anyone can play menacing, silent monster and take it to the next level, it's Kane Hodder.
Mm-hmm. And this one actually sets up, if they do another one, if they do a fifth one, like they set it up to be a pretty good finale, but we'll see if that actually happens. And finally, the Horror Pack limited edition Blu-ray of I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday.
Didn't even try to rhyme.
No, I don't think it's as racist as it sounds either. From writer-director Mike Lombardo of The Stall and Long Pig, neither of which I have seen, and executive producer Brian Keene, award-winning author of The Rising and Ghoul, comes what East Coast horror group called the Gut Punch Holiday Film of the Year. White Doomsday is the story of Kelly Enck and her son Riley, weathering the end times in a bomb shelter amongst the ruin that was once the world. When Christmas Eve approaches and supplies... and hope With Christmas Eve approaching and supplies and hope steadily declining, Kelly must make a horrifying decision that will cause her to find out just how far she would go for her child. I hope that's like feeding her kid like her leg or something. So yeah, I don't know. The cover doesn't say anything. It's got Santa with a gas mask. There's snow and some ripped up metal, and like they're all hanging out in like a bunker cave.
So, is that the last one?
Yep.
So not the best horror pack, but definitely not the worst.
No. I mean, if I would have been stoked to get Victor Crowley if I didn't already own it.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And Climax looks interesting.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't imagine how many movies you must have from your horror pack collection now.
A bunch. How many have I actually opened is the true question.
Oh man, yeah. There's a point when you start collecting movies too fast to watch them.
Mm-hmm. That's totally what happened, because I don't have time to. Unless it's for the show, I really don't have time for movies anymore, which is fine.
Yeah, movie collecting though is kind of an addiction.
True. I did get to see Star Wars though.
Oh, how was it?
Oh, it was good. It pretty much the opening scene is a horror movie.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people had mixed feelings on it. Most people, like, if they liked the others of this trilogy, they enjoyed this one, but if they didn't like the others, they didn't enjoy this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing that happens at the end that I'm pretty sure is universally hated. I don't want to get into it because it's still so new and it's Star Wars. But, like, yeah, there's one thing that everybody is united in hating, I'm sure.
There's only one thing I like about Star Wars, and it's the cute shit. Baby
Like
Yoda,
Jar Jar
I'm all
Binks.
over that. No, Jar Jar Binks is not cute. Those little
Baby
owl
Yoda's
things,
really cool.
those little bird things, those were cute. The Ewoks, those are cute.
Yeah, I think those are called porks or porgs, I think.
Porgs.
I forget.
Yeah, I love them. I would decorate my room with them. They are just adorable.
They're pretty cute.
And even in Star Trek, the Triffids, I love the Triffids.
Tribbles.
Whatever. Triffids are completely different. That's a monster, isn't it?
Yes. Wait, isn't Triffids the giant bunny horror movie?
Yeah, it's the that's Night of the Lepus.
Oh.
Or maybe it is Night. I don't know. All I know is those Tribbles are darn cute, even though they are just a bottle, like not a bottle, a ball of felt.
All right, Triffids are like plant monsters.
Oh, you just looked it up?
Yeah. It would have driven me crazy.
You know what I don't love, though?
What?
Bringing it down a bit. I don't love that the world took someone very special away from us too early.
Oh, I know. And she was so good in this.
She was just good. She was. You can't tell me. I have the same feelings about Brittany Murphy, who's in our next film, Cherry Falls, that I have about Heath Ledger. And that when I watch a film with them in it, I don't really believe they're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
It's like how some people felt about Elvis for a while, I guess.
Mm-hmm. God, she's so good in this, though.
I remember the story like this. It was a dark and scary night, kind of like tonight.
Okay, I can't figure out the boyfriend at the beginning of this movie, right? The one who first gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't figure out what I know him from.
Now,
I'd have to see a good shot of his face again.
Did they break up?
We just saw him.
Wake up!
Yeah, it was a profile, though. I didn't catch it.
What their parents hid in the past.
Nobody has seen or heard of her for over 25 years.
Mom, do you know anything about a woman named Laura Lee Sherman?
No. Why?
Is haunting the present.
Who is it?
Is your mom home?
No.
That moment right there is so cheating.
4 teenagers have been killed, a fifth viciously attacked.
All victims appeared to be...
God, even the trailer's super 90s.
Those flashes and the music, like the rock that's trying to be hard rock, but still kind of easy listening.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go further?
Tell me about Laura Lee Sherman. Tell me. That was 25.
I'm trying to find this kid, but I can't find him.
She goes all the way. Doubt it. You gotta come. Come on.
This is my post. I can't just split.
I like that moment.
I did
Something
too.
beautiful, something romantic.
So, a misunderstood activist tries to encourage children to abandon their purity rings in favor of a little fun. And it just doesn't work out too well for him or her.
Oh, I feel like I introduced that one.
Cherry Falls? Or purity rings?
No, the way you just said it felt like something I would say.
Yeah, it's really hard to... It's hard to come up with a funny description of this without just being ironic with it. A killer goes after virgin teenagers. Which, okay, that motivation, once you find out the twist at the end, does not make sense.
No, but he also abandons that MO by the end of the film as well.
That's true.
As seen in the orgy attack, I guess is how you call it.
Yeah. I mean, this movie came out in 2000, but it still felt very 90s. It's kind of like on the tail end. I think it came out too late for itself, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think the 2000 still counts as the 90s. Things weren't really that different yet.
Yeah, but I think it would have, if it had been like 98, it would have found more of an audience.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this flew under my radar. I didn't even hear about this movie until the, like, early 10s, probably.
Honestly, I didn't hear about it until you told me to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
The director hasn't done a lot. He did like a 2006 version of Macbeth I haven't seen. Romper Stomper, Lover Boy in '89. So
oh god, that's right. This is the same director as Romper Stomper.
Yeah, and Metal Skin. I haven't seen any of these movies. He actually also wrote Romper Stomper, Lover Boy, and Metal Skin. And
Romper Stomper is a great movie.
Yeah, well, he was responsible for writing for the TV series there was too.
Mm-hmm. I tried to watch the TV series. I could not get into it. I think I'm 2 episodes in, and it's just too... it's too now.
You know, TV series adaptations of films are rarely good. I think they've improved the format over the years, but you have to figure out an angle that's still true to the story without doing too much or too little.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't get into the Dusk Till Dawn series. I'm sorry, I couldn't. The acting was just too much for me.
The acting doesn't really ever get better, but the lore gets more interesting as you go.
Is cool, but the acting, I couldn't get past it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But the Lethal Weapon series that I've watched, that is good.
Yeah, I saw like half the first season, and I think the only reason I didn't finish it was because I didn't like want to watch a TV show weekly.
Yeah.
You know, so I watched the episodes that were up and then stopped.
Yeah, if it was on Netflix, I'd binge watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, at any rate, gosh, Cherry Falls, can you imagine if that had a TV series? This would be the right time for it.
Yeah, it really would.
Especially with stuff like Scream Queens.
Mm-hmm.
This stars Brittany Murphy, the late Brittany Murphy, when she was just young. She plays basically she plays the main character who doesn't want to sleep with her boyfriend, does feel things for him, but, you know, they're teenagers, and the whole battle in these movies is always that the girlfriend doesn't want to have sex with the boyfriend, and the boyfriend gets mad and moves on to the girl who will and finds out the girl won't and goes back to the first girl. You know, that's the same trope they do in every teenage movie, really.
Only usually they're not getting killed for not doing it.
Yeah. Now, there is a nice little element in that her father is the police chief who's like the primary investigator in this story. And seems to pretty much at all times know that what's going on. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because
because he's responsible for it, essentially. Yeah.
Ooh. Should we talk about the twist? Because I really, really do not have a lot to say about this film.
I don't see why not. This is a 20-year-old movie. Yeah, I mean, and it's a really standard, like, small-town, dark, secret murder movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is a twist at the end when you finally find out who the killer is, which... There's a scene that actually is kind of cheating, too. There's a bit where the killer tries to get into a girl's house and, like, with a woman's voice says that she has a message for her mother and then gets inside. I can't imagine, like, maybe a tape recorder tucked under the shirt, but they would have explained that later if they had gone through that. He had a woman's voice. And
yeah, I'd have to hear it again. Because in the fight, when he fights Brittany Murphy in the school, like, you can definitely hear that it's not a girl. Like, one of the hits definitely, like, they kind of give it away there.
Yeah, at that point, that is a man, because he has broad shoulders. He has the build of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That actor, what was his name?
Jay Moore.
Jay Moore, yeah. First he's the English teacher who for some reason is also the counselor for all the kids in his class early on when the first couple of virgin teenagers is murdered.
Do you think he was officially I don't think he was officially a counselor. I think he was just like the cool teacher that everybody felt okay talking to.
Well, he did look young with glasses and a nice suit, so that's probably...
Yeah.
he turns out to be the killer because, like, Brittany Murphy's dad raped his mom, and he turned out to be Brittany Murphy's brother, when there'd been kind of a sexual dynamic between them, which it always creeps me out when they have a sexual dynamic between students and teachers in movies, and they do it a lot.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem with Pretty Little Liars. As much as I love that show, I just couldn't get down with Ezra and, what's her name?
Well, and same with, the faculty, where at the end, the guy who's been held back for a few years is kind of a thing with one of the teachers, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like, and they just act like that's a normal thing. And it's like, well, just because he's 19 doesn't mean he's not a high school student.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, yeah. So you find out he's her half brother because her father raped his mother and told him about it every day of his life, which drove him crazy and made him decide to, for some reason, kill all the virgins in the town.
Until he just decides to kill everybody.
Well, what's with the ritual thing he does? Because he, like, drains these young women of he just straight up stabs the guys and then drains the women of their lifeblood through their femoral arteries. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Well, I was trying to follow that idea throughout the film because I thought that's got to maybe like some kind of cult or Satan thing. We never find out why he does it that way.
Mm-hmm. I think it was just an excuse to like pose corpses in a cool way
and to show like thighs, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie wasn't as compelling to me as something like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, which it seems to vaguely be nodding to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all those movies of that period, all those serial killer teenage movies were pretty much like going off a Scream, but
I like this because it was sort of a like opposite take on a slasher movie. You know what I mean? Instead of killing the promiscuous kids, he was going for the not promiscuous kids. I thought that was kind of clever.
Well, I like that concept. I just think the story could have been better. You know?
Yeah, and I wish they would have gone a little bit further into like the students rushing to lose their virginity.
Uh-huh.
Like I get that they did the like big orgy party, what was it called? The Pop Your Cherry Ball or something.
Yeah. It could have been a lot funnier.
Yeah, I agree. They
and
didn't have to like waste it all right in that part. They could have like spread it out a little more.
And also killing the gay reporter friend. I thought that was too soon.
Oh, I did too, especially because I really like that kid.
Yeah,
or that guy. He's my age. Like.
Yeah. With his like tattoos on his eyebrows and his like nose ring that no like white middle class high school would let a kid have.
Right.
Yeah.
He was a vampire in True Blood, and I completely can't remember him now.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to look at him again. I could probably place him if I looked at him, but I'm not going to go back and look at him.
It'll take me 2 seconds to find it. He was Elijah Stormer in True Blood.
Oh, the guy I could.
Oh, the guy who ended up being the King of New Orleans briefly, huh? Or Bontemps.
Oh, well, the actor from the beginning who was the first murdered couple, I just recognized him now. I just looked him up. That's Jesse Bradford. So, kind of a, I guess, more well-known actor at this point in a very small role. He was in like Clock Stoppers, that's what I recognized him from, which is not actually a great movie. He's also in Bring It On and Romeo and Juliet. And My Blue Heaven.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. He was in W. So he's been in small roles in a lot of things. That's why I recognized him. So, there we go. I mostly recognized him from Clock Stoppers. I watched that movie a lot when I was in high school.
I've never seen it. Oh, he was in The Punisher, too? I don't remember him in The Punisher.
Yeah. So, a lot of familiar faces in this movie. Not a lot of big names, though. I'd watch it again. Maybe. It's better than Valentine. Valentine is terrible.
I feel like I've seen that, but I don't remember it.
And that's the one where Angel kills women who wouldn't dance with him in high school.
Like an angel or Angel from the TV show?
Angel from the TV show, the actor.
Oh, okay. I have seen that. Yeah.
Oh, so that's all I have to say about Cherry Falls.
Yeah, I don't have much more either.
Yeah. I mean,
I enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, it's a fun watch. It's a popcorn movie. Those 90s, like, teen slasher films there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that this one brought something new to the table.
Yeah, that's I think the main reason I like this is because it's different. It's like Disturbing Behavior was different, you know?
I do have to point out, though, with all the girls with big boobs not wearing bras and somehow being virgins, okay, yeah, suspension of disbelief, that one's a little tough, but...
Why don't do bras and virginity go hand in hand?
I think if you have really big boobs and you never wear a bra and you're in high school, you're probably getting around.
I think that's judgmental, Madeline.
Well, I think it's accurate, Corey.
Fair enough.
Okay, moving on, I guess, to your movie.
Yeah, my weird, confusing noir nightmare.
Oh, man. This was one of those movies that made me love Showtime Beyond, staying up until, late at night when I was a kid.
Oh, I forgot about Showtime Beyond.
Oh, it was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, after 2 a.m., it was so great.
I saw so many bizarre movies staying up late for Showtime Beyond, and this was one of them.
So much techno in both of these movies, too. So much, late 90s techno.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this one's full of that, very specific, breakbeat techno from the time period.
Mm-hmm. Which, it works with the silly effects.
Oh, yeah.
I love to describe this movie to people. Or try to describe it.
Yeah, that's what I have to do now.
I've been very understanding considering the way you've been treating me.
I love that tongue. That tongue is awesome.
All right. This is going to be a whole lot of stream of thought because this is one of those movies that I enjoyed, but I couldn't focus on. I watched it twice. The second time confused me even more. My brain would just wander off at parts. So we're going to, maybe Maddie can fill in my blank spots here.
I'll do my best, but it's a very bizarre movie with very little logic.
Right. Okay, so criminals do crime, rip each other off. One named Johnny goes to jail, and his girlfriend has to hide out. Her name's Candy. She's got to hide out in a nunnery. Mm-hmm. For him to get out. And she waits for her release there, or she waits for his release there until an alien turns her into basically Venom.
No, not an alien. A meteorite in her soup.
Yeah, containing an alien. What the hell do you think that is? It came from space.
It makes him I guess maybe there's a tiny alien inside the meteor.
I mean, it can be magical, too. I'm okay with both.
I was thinking more like the effect in Creepshow, where just the meteorite touching it, or it has, bacteria or something that does some weird shit to your DNA.
Fair enough. So, yeah, it turns her into basically Venom, and it turns her dogs into a whole bunch of gay stereotypes.
Drag queens.
Yeah, and I'm gonna stop here and go to another page because my notes are all over the place. I want to talk briefly about who's in this movie. Mm-hmm. So Jonathan Rhys Meyers plays Rudolph the dog in this, who, I mean, if you guys know, he's moved on to some great stuff. He played Dracula in that series that only ran for a season, but he was actually really good in that, and he's done some phenomenal stuff since then, but he's this gay dog man in this.
He was in that Henry VIII series.
Oh, the Tudors. Yeah, that's right. He was he was Henry VIII.
Yeah, but he was a baby in this. This was actually the first thing I'd ever seen him in.
Mm-hmm.
So when Henry VIII started, I was like, oh, that's the guy from Killer Tongue.
Yeah.
Well, he's also in Velvet Goldmine.
Oh, yeah, he was really great in Velvet Goldmine. I love that movie. Doug Bradley, a.k.a. Pinhead, is in this movie. He plays, I guess one of the prisoners from the prison work camp. Yeah, he plays one of the prisoners that actually likes Johnny, the main guy in this. Melinda Clarke, who did a pretty cool stint in CSI. She was a dominatrix in CSI and had one of the only interesting roles in that whole show. She plays Candy, and to top it all off, Robert Englund plays the crazy prison warden guard or whatever he is at this work camp. I don't even know.
A sadomasochistic gay prison warden.
Yeah, pretty much.
With a thing for Johnny.
Mm-hmm. So the other two guys that they ripped off are free and peeing on each other's shoes. There's a lot of peeing with this one guy. Mm-hmm. And I think I've actually chronicled all of them in my notes. They see they see a picture in a newspaper of Candy and the rest of the nuns.
Mm-hmm.
So that sends off one of the guys to go find her.
Because they backstabbed these two guys.
Yeah, because they ripped him off.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up murdering him and eating him, or like sucking his life force, eating his organs. I don't know, what do you think that tongue eats? Didn't really show.
The tongue just makes people explode like the meteor does. Maybe that's satisfying for the tongue. I don't know.
Maybe, could be. And the dogs are like all about helping her find more victims. They're all about feeding her. They're like her Renfields.
Yeah, they're her babies, though. They're her drag queen minions.
Yeah. Oh, it's so strange.
I love them. I love them.
I do, too. I don't have a whole lot about this work camp because it was kind of the lamest of the subplots. I got a little bit here and there. Mm-hmm. Most of this movie just isn't very important for, like, it's sort of a movie that, like, you've got the beginning, a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter in the middle, and then the end. Mm-hmm. You know? He's getting released soon, so she leaves the nunnery, and that's how she ends up getting infected by these aliens. Robert Englund's character knows that Johnny's getting released, so he just turns the torture up to 11 on this poor guy and just starts being horrible.
Well, because he doesn't want to let him go.
Yeah, they must be a love thing.
I think so.
Then a nun vomits as the other one runs away.
Okay, so...
And then she gets kidnapped?
So the one who is Candy's friend doesn't speak.
Yes.
She's another young nun, and she's been having visions of the meteorite. And she tries to show the others because she can't speak, and they don't believe her. And then somehow when she gets out, I think the fat guy kidnaps her when he sees her. Something like that.
Well, no, I don't think she's the one that gets kidnapped. The other nun gets kidnapped by the dog.
Oh, and then killed, yeah. This one doesn't get kidnapped,
ends up running
but
off.
she does get chained to a bed.
Yes, after she steals the other guy's car. Mm-hmm. But I think we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I'm still not sure why that nun vomits.
It was convenient. I don't know.
I guess, yeah. So at first, Candy doesn't like this whole tongue situation. She fights against it. It's sort of like a possession thing, I think.
Yeah. What does he have that I haven't got?
So the nun mistakes the glowy rock for Jesus, essentially, and prays to it, which, like, gives her power. Well, she mines a piece. She, like, hits a piece off and then, like, gets power from it. Mm-hmm. And then Candy has sex with her tongue.
Well, after Johnny cheats on her.
No, this didn't happen yet.
Oh, okay. So the tongue. All right.
Yeah, she cheats on him first.
Is the tongue raping her this first time, though?
She seems into it.
Well, just because she feels pleasure, Corey.
Well, I don't know. Like, she's like stroking the tongue and stuff.
Guys, if you've seen The Killer Tongue and you believe the tongue raped her, tweet at us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it didn't, though.
This was consensual alien tongue sex.
Well, that's what's so confusing about the movie. She's like super into it, but then she tries to kill herself right afterwards, and the tongue saves her life.
Man.
Then Runaway Nun finds Johnny, who has a pickaxe in his chest. I forget why.
It works.
So yeah, Runaway Nun pulls it out and heals him, and then like wanders off and ends up crossing the other partner, the other guy who got ripped off, who's now looking for his dead friend. And he's peeing again, and like really, really into peeing, like loving it, like orgasmically loving peeing.
He's peeing on the rock.
I don't think he was. No, he wasn't peeing on the rock yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just peeing at this point and really into it. And then she steals his car. And ends up where Candy and the dogs live. They had a name for the place, but I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
Okay. And all of a sudden she goes there and passes out, and then she gets a fancy costume too. So I'm thinking she's not probably a nun anymore, but then she sort of prays later. It's very confusing. She sees Candy eat another nun. Mm-hmm. This is so difficult. the runaway nun isn't pleased with this, and they end up smashing this two-way mirror, and then runaway nun gets choked out by the tongue while the dogs are trying, like the dogs like runaway nuns. They're trying to get her to stop. Now we go back to Robert Englund, who's dicking around with birds.
And he names one Johnny.
He does. He names one Johnny because he misses Johnny. But again, I'm skipping a lot of stuff here. Like, there's a whole bunch of
It's okay to skip. This is a weird movie.
Yeah, a man falls off of a tower into an outhouse that has Robert Englund's character into it. I don't know. It's all over the place. Mm-hmm. Johnny's now tied to a Jeep, which I also forget how he got there.
His ex-partner, the fat guy, found him.
Oh, he did? Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. That's where we're at now. He finds Johnny. Does that say shoots him?
I don't think he shot
Johnny.
him.
Yeah, I don't know what that word is, so we'll just skip that part. But then he pees on the magic rock and explodes.
Yeah, if you the magic rock will make you orgasm, but if you orgasm too much, you'll explode touching the magic rock.
Mm. See, I thought that maybe it was like if you're doing the magic rock harm.
Yeah, but when all those prisoners were touching it, they weren't doing it any harm.
Oh, that's true. They did all explode.
They just had this group orgy rock touching thing. And
so then we cut back to runaway nun, who is tied up and praying. I have no idea what's going on. Johnny is pulling a car through the desert uphill. A Jeep. I'm sorry. It's a Jeep. I guess Candy is pregnant because of the tongue sex?
Yes. The tongue impregnated Candy. That's a weird sentence.
Yeah. And at some point, the prisoners overpower Robert Englund and get rapey because Candy is there.
Candy knocked the door open, and Robert got shot in the head, so he was knocked out, not killed. And then the prisoners were like, all right, freedom. Hey, nude chick in a weird tar get up. Let's try to rape her.
Yeah, they failed at it, luckily.
Mm-hmm. Because of the tongue.
Yeah, because of the tongue. And there's a great shot where the tongue goes through one of the prisoners' heads into another dude's wiener. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden, Doug Bradley gets magical.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like magical for a second because it doesn't come up again. Johnny then dry humps the runaway nun for some reason.
Because they both touched the rock thing.
Oh, because they both touched the rock. See, I missed that part.
Yeah, they were both touching the rock, and it got them excited. So it's like they were doing it, but they didn't intend to.
Fair enough. And then Candy gets real mad and shoves them off a cliff, but they survive. And this just made something else make sense to me, but I'll get back to that. So she goes home and the dogs give her a dude to eat, and he's all wrapped up. I'm pretty sure it was a dude that they showed in the trunk of the car, in the beginning of the movie, and just didn't come back to for a long time.
No, I think he was Robert Englund's second in command.
Oh, okay. But I'm pretty sure he was kidnapped pretty early on, though.
Probably.
Around the same time. He was in the car when the nun was in the car.
Candy has definitely embraced this new life now.
Oh, yeah. She's into it now. The techno that's been playing all of a sudden is banjo techno.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny and the nun. See, this is the part that makes sense to me in the now. This is the part that makes sense to me now. Johnny and the nun are climbing back up because they are halfway off this cliff, and she's like, "Watch your hands." And I didn't know why now, but now they're no longer under the spell of the rock, so that's why.
Yeah.
And we cut back to the house, and everybody's learning about how to take care of babies.
Well, they watch this weird baby video where this guy is sitting in a high chair with a big diaper and a baby bonnet.
Yeah, and they're talking about how to wrap reusable diapers or whatever.
And the tongue is doing it too.
Yeah.
Talk about how excited he is to have a baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all into it because they're not going to survive this, but the baby will, or some nonsense.
It's actually a cute scene. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it is. All right, and then Robert Englund ruins it all and invades with a shotgun, but he trips over a severed... Well, he doesn't only trip over a severed head. He gets his hand stuck in a severed head's mouth, shoots up in the air and starts shooting all over the place. Everybody runs off. There's a car chase, and we're back at the nuns' gas station because this is a church and a gas station. Mm-hmm. They're desert nuns that sell gas. And they've decided to make their final stand at the church. I don't know who is good or bad anymore. I have no idea who's on whose team or what's happening.
I think Robert Englund and Johnny and the Nuns team up against Candy.
Yeah. And then for some reason they shoot the water tank, which kills the dogs eventually.
I don't remember exactly what happens. It's like, I think they get the rock. Something happens with the rock that makes them explode.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was weird.
But right before this happened, the Tongue crew shows up and they invade by screaming, "It's bitch time!" Mm-hmm. It's pretty great. And yeah, people start exploding. Runaway Nun cuts Candy's tongue off and I guess breaks the spell.
Johnny can't do it.
And what? Oh yeah, because Johnny
can't
do it. And then, like, it cuts to her in a bed. I can't tell if she's dying or having the baby or whatever, but she has another little noirish monologue, and then the movie just ends.
Well, the film opened with her like that, and then it closes with her like that. I think she just decided to give up on life.
Yeah, I just couldn't tell if she was, like, having the baby or, like, what was going on there.
I don't think she was having the baby. I think the baby was no longer there.
You think the baby died with the tongue?
I think so.
Okay.
The baby died with the tongue. Again, there's so many sentences we've said in this episode that are just...
Yeah, this movie's up there with, like, all the good, weird stuff I've seen. You know, I feel like I liked it, but I feel like I should have liked it more considering the catalog of weird movies I do like.
I think
there's no reason I should like Die You Zombie Bastards more than I like Killer Tongue, but I do.
Maybe if the budget had been bigger. I don't know.
Maybe.
No, it's
I don't know.
It's just one of those movies you have to see and get over the name of the movie because it's worth seeing once.
Yeah, I agree. And Melinda Clarke's great. She was in Return of the Living Dead 3. She's really the only good thing in Return of the Living Dead 3. Mm-hmm. She's often the only good thing in the movies that she picks. So, yeah, I was happy to see her in this role.
And that was Killer Tongue.
That was Killer Tongue.
If you would like to read about more weird movies, you can find our blog at hallow-holic.blogspot.com or hallow-holic.wordpress.com.
If you would like to tweet us at Nowhere23 or by searching Hallow-Holics, again, tell us movies you would like to hear us do, and if we pick it, I will send you Victor Crowley for free.
Mm-hmm. And guys, we don't have a lot of tweeting going back at us, so we're open to any kinds of recommendations as long as it's not another Rob Zombie movie.
Depends on the Rob Zombie movie.
It's definitely not going to be House of a Thousand Corpses. If you say House of a Thousand Corpses, I will freak out on you.
Guys, we'll make her watch 31.
No!
Have you seen it?
You know what? I don't want to.
You're not allowed to talk shit until you've seen it.
That is nonsense. You're not allowed to say Salo is a depraved, horrible, disgusting film if you haven't seen it.
Do what I want.
All right, guys. Recommend Salo, and Corey will watch. Wait, no, that means I have to watch it again. Do not recommend Salo.
Oh, yeah, and I will not be watching a Serbian film again. Let's get that out there right now.
Yeah, I'm not watching that either.
Yeah. So it's not
thematically, Salo and a Serbian film would pair well.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, God, no.
So today it's not the man threatening me, it's his tongue.
Huh. Is it talking?
I think it's him because it sounds like this.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, make sure you tell him about podpedia.org.
Is it holding a knife or? I
mean, he is, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
I think he's faking it, but I'd really rather just tell you guys to go to podpedia.org and search our portal, HHA, just to be safe.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, Corey, I guess I won't turn you into the police because we just started a podcast, but I really want you to know that you just can't go around killing teenagers. So that was the last time, okay?
I mean, it's the last time I'll get caught by you doing it.
What's that under the rug?
Nothing.
Okay, it looks suspiciously like the shape of a teenager not wearing a bra.
No. That's that's just laundry.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Oh, wait, shit! We did it again!
Oh, we forgot to say what we're doing again.
We have one last special episode, which will be our last Christmas gift exchange. Even though it's after Christmas, it's also going to be our season finale before season 4 starts.
Yes.
I actually do number these in seasons. The movie I assigned to you is Vampires in Havana.
And the movie I assigned to you is Iron Sky. Are we really on season 4 already?
Yeah, because season 1 was with my original co-hosts.
Okay, so I've been here for seasons 2 through 4.
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha. So, Maddie, if you have time, there is a sequel to Iron Sky as well.
Oh, gosh.
On either. It's either on Prime or Netflix. I forget which, but I will probably be trying to squeeze in both, depending on when we actually record this.
Okay. Now, good night, guys.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.